And welcome everyone to another edition of Katz Chats here for the Missouri Valley Conference. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by Luke Yaklich from UIC. And Luke, as we are talking, I know a disappointing loss against Incarnate Word,
Yeah,
because you guys obviously had been in a different place before that game, and we're seeing this across the country in your city, Chicago State. Obviously, has been upsetting people, including beating Valpo, and of course, they upset Northwestern. So it happens. Let's just put that aside for a second and tell
yeah,
me
for sure.
where overall do you feel where this team and program is as we get closer to 2024?
Oh, really excited about our team, Andy. I just, it's there's the smallest of margins for error. Obviously, you've been in this a long time, and you look back and again a tough loss at home to Green Bay a couple weeks ago. Our guys responded back and with a good win against Western Michigan, and then like you just you're the margin for error is sometimes it's a free throw, it's a defensive lapse, or it's a missed shot here or there from thinking and feeling differently. So I like you try to keep the 1% mindset with our guys and where we've been. Not entirely healthy yet for sure, but I love our team, Andy. I really we have a really strong team that and when I say strong team, there we have good connectedness and togetherness. Didn't exhibit that all the time in last night's game, but then we have some depth that I hopefully we can continue to develop at the guard position. When Marquise Kennedy gets healthy, Yusuf Salih has been out, Andrew King has been out, but the other guys have done a wonderful job stepping in, and we just really had a great showing in the Bahamas. Lost a tough game against a really good Greensboro team, but from a defensive standpoint, where I want to be. And where we're going to, I told our guys at the start and in the summer throughout our training that we want to be we want to be in the top three of most defensive statistical categories in the Valley, and then keep developing our offense and our depth because we knew we had some injuries even early on in the season. And we've been able to do that. We're doing a really good job, and even in the national rankings from a defensive standpoint, and then in the Valley. And I've got to be more consistent with that because there's at times for our team, we've really executed well defensively, and then we've lapsed in a certain area offensively, and then flipped it around where offensively we played well, and then let our guard down a little bit defensively because we think we will just be able to score. And at the same time, we want to get better at home, Andy. We've been really, really good on the road in the neutral sites of locking some people up, and the reverse has been true at home. So that's something that in the second half of the season with league play have to address. But love our group, and I love our mindset of where we are and how we represent our program and where we're at. And again, you get 2 1-point losses throughout the mix here. It's tough. It's tough. So we gotta do a great job responding when we come back from break.
So I want to go back to mid-November.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me the significance when a UIC, a program you are building, knocks off a nearby rival, Loyola Chicago, former Valley, now in the A10,
Yeah.
because in the post-game locker room, there was euphoria. What is
Yes.
the significance of a win like that for UIC in the city of Chicago?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Andy, obviously Loyola's had great success. They've been kind of the standard in the city, and they had our number, and our guys just had a certain mindset about that game, and one that you want to have in every game, that you really have a chip on your shoulder and something to prove, and that is the next step for us. But in that game, it was euphoria. I think the guys really wanted that one for a lot of different reasons. It was personal for guys in a good way. Personal in terms of like I want to play well because we want to win this game because we want some respect, and we want to win and want to have a really good season. I mean, our guys are committed to that, and truly, it's coach speak, but that was a game that I think guys realized, okay, we can be a good team. We are a good team. We can be a good team, and we're not even close to our potential yet. And then that kind of transferred over to a good showing in the Bahamas. So It was that can't be our high point though for the season, and that'll continue to be to be replaced hopefully with some really good wins here in the Valley.
Yeah, I mean, you went 2-1 on that trip.
Yes.
Middle Tennessee is consistently, regardless of who's been the coach, has always been good. GW
Yep.
obviously off to a good
Yep.
start in the A10. Greensboro has already had a
Yep.
Power Five win, and then you came out of that and you lose by 5 at home to Illinois State,
Yep.
sort of that Valley opener. And when
Yep.
you get back in the Valley after the holiday, it's right on the road with 3 of your first 4 at Southern Illinois, at Murray, home Valpo, and then at Northern Iowa. I mean, I'll tell you this, defense travels. Um, how will this group navigate that when you jump back into the Valley so that you're not suddenly in some deep hole because you've got 3 of those 4 on the road?
Yeah, our guys, I mean, they know it. I think last year helps a lot. Andy, that experience, we're playing an incredibly young team last year, and it was great experience for the guys that we have back. And but it's a gauntlet, as is every league. You look in every league that been in as an assistant at the at Texas, like, holy cow! All right, we got at Baylor, at this, at that. And then it's the same way as it was in the Big Ten, and it's the same way in the Valley. We have a really good league. It's very deep this year. Every team has like just what appears to be just stronger depth throughout the league from 1 through 8. I think the players are there's depth. So you add that plus 3 of the next 4 on the road. Andy, it's like you're going, you're into the fire and you're into the gauntlet. So if your defense doesn't travel, that's that's going to put a lot of pressure and an onus on being perfect on offense. And what we want in the core of our culture is to be a great defensive unit. And again, it's a little, after last night, we let our guard down a little bit in certain areas, and I think that'll heighten the awareness, and we're going to use that as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block here as we go into preparation for Southern when we get back from break. So confident our guys will do it, and I know we're going to be excited to go on the road, and we've played better on the road this year than at home, which is it's good, but it's also frustrating.
One last thing, Luke. Not that you're gonna have the answer to this, but we are seeing this year in the Big Ten Valley players at Purdue, Iowa, Illinois having great starts.
Mm-hmm.
Not easy to keep everyone.
Yeah.
How are you going to navigate like your peers in this league if you've got a guy that's really ascending, if he can at least just come back for one more year, or before. Now if they're grad transfers, I get it, but if they're not, how do you navigate that of trying to keep these rosters together from one year to the next?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different approaches with that, Andy, and I think the main thing is that the relationships, player and staff, and then the role, and continue to impress upon the skill development and the opportunity to do something special here. And then throughout the portal and those conversations of just being I think transparent and honest throughout the entire process throughout the season, and then at the end of the year, and then making sure that everybody has a absolute understanding about what's needed and what we have to do when the season ends and you go into that 45 the portal window, that there's no surprises at that point from that perspective. And then you make sure that the things that you have in place are clearly laid out for each of the guys as far as their future is concerned. So I think it's an incredibly different time period, and it keeps evolving since it got the job at the start of COVID, and then to where it's at now. The conversations that you just have with your staff and athletic director, et cetera, even with recruits and stuff, it's entirely different. But you have to adapt and find the way that it works for UIC, because the way it works for UIC is going to be different than everywhere else, and vice versa, because of, again, history, geography, like where you're at in the program, all that kind of stuff matters. And I'm just we're looking for obviously to finish out and then keep our roster intact. We have some guys that have multiple years left, but again, you see the changes that happened just last week, and that further will be another question that you have to answer and really look into to see how that's going to unfold in April and May as well. So it's not easy, but it's not supposed to be, and that's why we've got to find out and continue to explore exactly how it works for UIC here in Chicago, and keeping our team intact and our best players in a Flames uniform. So it's amazing how stuff like this would not be. It was, you just kind of let it go and you didn't talk about stuff, but it's part of it now. And I'm confident and really excited about the direction we're going and the guys that we have in the program, and we'll continue to be here.
Luke, appreciate it. Have a great holiday, and we'll be tracking how you guys are doing after the first of the year.
I appreciate it, Andy. Thanks again for your time. We really appreciate it, and stop by practice anytime in Chicago.
I will.